Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. I have the honor of having back with us again Urban Forester Vincent Verweji. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm really grateful you're here because right now trees, believe it or not, are one of the hottest topics in Arlington. So the last time you came, we talked about how Arlington's tree canopy is the lungs of the county. So how are we breathing?
Arlington's tree canopy is great at filtering our air, and just tree canopy as a whole. Trees filter nitrogen oxides and sulfur oxides, which can damage our lungs instead, so they're actually helping us be healthier. They're also at the same time working to sequester carbon and reduce the effects of climate change, not just by shading us when we're walking around the city, but also by taking in carbon into the wood that they grow, and hopefully offsetting some of the carbon that we use in this community. One thing that is good, which I've actually heard recently from some of the air pollution experts in the state, is that air pollution levels are improving in some ways, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have perfectly healthy air. Industry has reduced quite a bit in this area, so it's better than sometime in the mid-1900s, but we still have a ways to go.
Mid-1900s.
Hey.
I mean, across the state of Virginia is very different from
Right.
our densely populated northern Virginia area. So as an urban forester, one of your priorities is replacing the trees that are being cut down. Many by developers, but also some that just die on their own because they can't sustain life in this harsh climate. So how's that going? Watering, pruning?
Yeah, it's tough for a tree to survive in an urban environment, and unfortunately you do have to keep in mind that they have a lot of stress to deal with, and when they filter pollution, that actually impacts their health too, because it blocks up their breathing apparatus, their stomata in their leaves. But what we are doing is we work through permitting and through preserving trees on public property where possible, and planting trees and watering our trees after planting for at least 2 years to make sure that the trees that we plant at least try to survive, and then where we can preserve trees, that we preserve them the best way possible.
I love to see it when they do survive long enough to start to become hardy. And yet at the same time, our hardiest trees, the ones that are literally giving their lives for us, are being threatened by development and the fact that we want to increase impervious space around. I understand Upton Hills is considering a plan to cut down trees. This is the Regional Park Authority. They're going to cut down trees for a parking lot. So around Arlington, from a great redwood that neighbors are just like getting on the news and talking about, to sites like the Red Cross off of Glebe Road. I mean, what kind of protection is in place for these trees? Are there any laws or any rules on stormwater management, something that can keep people from cutting these wonderful giants down?
Sure, there are some laws. Virginia is unfortunately kind of as one county board member said, a mommy may I state, where the state regulates down to the county, but we do have several laws and ordinances that protect our trees. At least our public trees are protected. Nobody can work on public trees without permission from the county, and they are pretty well protected from that. And then trees along streams have some protection from being removed, as well as specimen trees, which are trees that are designated by owners of those trees usually to be protected as part of the property.
So one thing that you're trying to do is educate people. I mean, that's an important part of what you do, businesses as well as citizens. So what are some of the programs that you're kind of pushing forward so that you can protect the canopy and increase it if possible?
So we have very technical certified arborists who work on tree preservation, but beyond that we do some outreach programs too, and we worked, actually the tree stewards got a grant from Arlington, Eco Action Arlington, to do this Mature Trees Are Valuable Trees program, which is a fantastic program.
Fantastic program.
It's a brand new program to teach people how to take care of their trees, because one of the best ways to advocate for trees is to take care of the ones on your property or on the ones maybe you live in a condominium or something like that, but you have influence on your condo board saying, maybe we should be planting more trees and taking care of the ones that we have already.
And you can help your neighbors too as they get older and they might have a difficulty. I mean, neighborhoods really need to understand their tree canopy so that they're not up in a roar when things are changing, because people come to the area and they move here. Maybe they want to keep those trees. Maybe they understand how important that is to the value of the community.
Yeah, sometimes there's some cynical people out there who think that the best tree is a tree on somebody else's lot.
Yeah,
but
I've been
that is often why people move to Arlington. Is our 40% tree canopy, over 40% tree canopy is one of the big reasons why people want to move here. The air is relatively clean for an urban area. And part of the reason of that is the air filtering we get from our trees.
Well, I am just so grateful to Arlington County for having people on staff working every day to protect our urban forest. I'm also grateful to Eco Action for donating the money to get some of this this information out there. How do people reach you, Vincent, if they want to talk about trees?
People can reach the entire forestry unit, including me, at urbanforestry@arlingtonva.us.
Thanks so much for coming back. We come back again?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and then we'll get another checkup on our trees.
Thanks.
Arlington's air quality is regularly monitored at the Aurora Hills Library site in Crystal City, Virginia. It would be a good idea to check whether or not our air quality is healthy enough to participate in sports. All three of my children have experienced asthma, and I recently had my first asthma attack. Air quality needs to be a priority for everyone in the community and desiring to come here. I want to thank all of you for watching another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. This one is very important, so forward it on to your friends. You can find it on our YouTube channel, Sustainable Scoop, YouTube. I'm Miriam Gennari. That's the Sustainable Scoop. Back to the news desk. This edition of the Sustainable Scoop has been brought to you by Leaders in Energy. Leaders in Energy is a global action network that advances clean energy and sustainable solutions. Its programs connect mutually dependent stakeholders who share an interest in convening and partnering with leaders to create a more resilient planet. You can learn more about Leaders in Energy at leadersinenergy.org.